Board of Trustees, regular meeting for February 12th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call
Mr. Lohman,
here.
Mr. Hyde, Mr. Heiss,
Here.
Approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held January 8th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
Roll call. Need your mic.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyde,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Approval to pay the bills as have been presented over the past month.
So move.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyde,
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
Okay, correspondence. Okay, I've got a few. Hamilton County Board of Health meeting was today at 4. Fernald Preserve has weekly programs. You can go online and see what's going on there. The Board of Health District Advisory Council meeting on March 12th. I'll probably go to that. There was an email that Edgewood, which has been closed, is supposed to reopen April 30th up to Boffman Road, but then it's going to keep on going up, I guess.
But it looks like,
Yeah.
They're going to get it before they get the houses in.
Did you say it's going to open back up by April 30th? Is that what you said?
Up to Boffman Road, but then it's going to close on the other side of Boffman. Because it's going all the way up to the hill, I guess, by where those new houses are going in. It's a sewer line that they're putting in. There's a primary here, March 19th. I think there's several things to vote on, so people should try to get out and do your voting.
What day was that?
March 19th. This is Ohio Public Transit Week. We got like a thank you letter from the Metro for just different townships and that, just thanking them for supporting it. So the 11th through the 17th. There's a Butler Rural Golf outing, August 9th. And then I went to the State of the County on February 6th with Alicia Reese. It was kind of interesting. It was at Memorial Hall. Just a couple bullets from that. They have $40 million for affordable housing, so if people are having a difficult time paying their rent or house payments, they could apply for probably grants from through the county. And they plan on putting a new shooting range in for Hamilton County. The police, they got money through probably federal, state, and local. Is that going to be in Crosby Town,
It's across
Coleraine Township?
across the river from Rumpke Ballpark, where the shooting range is now.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna expand it big time. So I asked them about, when we had our meeting, I asked them about noise reduction measures, and they're designing different structures to kind of,
I'll muffle it.
we'll see.
Yeah.
So is that all an outdoor?
Yeah,
Why don't they do indoor? Is that?
more money.
Oh.
And then they got a range for rifle range, so that's gonna be over there too. And then they're gonna have bomb detonation. They're gonna have everything. So it's gonna be a combined City of Cincinnati, Hamilton County facility.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. It's going to expand the various departments that use it too. It's just going to be a lot more volume.
So I'm sure we're gonna have some noise. Because when you blow stuff up, it makes noise. So.
And that's all I've got. Dennis?
Okay. Been working with Bob May on the Firehouse Edition. We have Bob here tonight, so he'll be making a presentation on all that stuff. I filled out the boundary and annexation survey. Wanted to know if there was any changes in our property lines in Crosby Township, and there wasn't any. So I filled that out. We received the geotechnical report from AH and Witzig Engineering. Looked into the complaint about the drums that were sitting at the intersection of Patty's Run Road and New Haven Road. I contacted Jeff Smith at Nice Chemical. He knew who to contact, and within 2 days they were gone. Evidently, they were just water that were taken out of the test wells, and then nobody picked them up. And so we had a neighbor that lived over on Willie that was wanting to know about it, so I contacted him and let him know what was going on. Worked with DWA and Bob May to finish the gutter on the new shelter. Since then, I went to the OTA the conference up there, and they had a trade show, and DWA was at the trade show. They had a regional guy that was there. I told him about what we were doing down here, and DWA contacted me this afternoon. They're going to come out and look at that gutter and make it right. So I met with Bayer Paving and Cincinnati Asphalt about repaving the driveway and parking lot at the community center, and possibly doing some road repaving in New Baltimore, Hacienda, Tool, and Mesa Lane. So I'll do more on that later on. I went to the ICRC meeting. It was January the 25th. I have the minutes and stuff here in case anybody's interested in that. Received notice from the Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency meeting for January the 29th, which was passed, and so I didn't go to that, but there was nothing there. I thought that we filled out the report with the chief, and so that should have been taken care of. And then also with Bob May, that Abercrombie and Associates, we're doing the site plan. I have that here. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Mike Marsh needed more information on the OPWC District 2 Integrating Committee meeting on February the 9th. He had received a notice. Last year I looked into it, and that's just a meeting where the people that dish out the state money talk about their parameters on what they do for the people that submit bids to go through. I was on NRAC committee, and that had to deal with municipalities and different agencies on getting grants for green space and stuff. And so there was nothing he needed to go to on that. We all got a question from Brenda on the roller coaster business at Strickers Groves. And then Bob May and Alan Trends are preparing the ad for bidding on the Firehouse Edition. And I had a discussion with Todd Palmeter at Great Parks if he had any interest in our park over on River Road for their Blue Wave project. He showed interest. He's going to find out who owns the property between us and the river so they can get accessibility. Once when he gets a hold of that person, and if they show interest, we'll have a meeting with all three entities to see how we can work together on that. We aren't basically using much of that property for anything over there, and didn't know if maybe we wanted to donate what Crosby owns. It's about 65 acres from what Brian looked up on the, and I went back in there. I've never back in there. There's several residences back there, and basically it's just an old burrow pit from Ohio Gravel that was donated to the township years and years ago. And I know the maintenance department, when they go over there, there's just riffraff that hangs out in that park, and we always got to clean it up, and a lot of stuff is damaged. So maybe we can use it better if the Great Parks wants to incorporate it into their Blueway. So we'll see where that goes. And then I contacted Alan to see what the proper protocol was on donating the property to Great Park. So Alan, if he found anything on that, he can give that in his report. The neighbor next to the fire department where we have our salt building that's got to be torn down is Glenn Buckley. I asked him about getting an easement for the demolition of the salt barn on our new construction in case something goes over on his property. He said he didn't have a problem with it. So Alan, I guess we need to pull up make up an easement for him to sign so we can work with him.
Who's this for?
Glenn Buckley.
Temporary easement.
Yep. And so when I went to the OTA conference, which was last Friday, I attended sessions on community solar projects. There's a difference between community solar projects and utility solar projects. Community solar projects would be like New Haven wanting to go solar. They would just develop a solar system that would only take 10 to 40 acres instead of a utility, which looks at 100 to 1,000, and work with the different communities on a small solar project, and that's all they do. Went to best practices on investment decisions. So the two guys that were giving that talk were the guys that did the investing for Star Ohio. So that was interesting, even though I wasn't fiscal officer. It was for fiscal officers and anybody else, so I went just to. Then I went into another one on preserving roads, and then another one on where the money comes from. Most of our money comes from property taxes, so. And then a trade show. So I brought home some stuff on rebuilding the ambulance box, a roof fabric to put on the firehouse over there because that firehouse still leaks. So there was a vendor there that had a solution to that, and it was I had a pretty good time. And then, like you said, we got a postcard for the golf alley, and that's pretty much all I have.
All right, thanks. Chuck?
Yeah, I got a couple other things. Mike, Morris, and myself went to a seminar on January 24th, and I brought back the copy of it. I gave it to the trustee from SCI, and it was like a 3-hour seminar. It was very worthwhile. So that information I gave you for your benefits. And recently I got an email from SCI, and what they did is sent 143 pages connected to that email. So all the information that was presented on the slide at the meeting, and I think Mike got a copy. Yep. So I also forwarded that to Dennis and Doug for your information. So some interesting facts that came out of that meeting is 43% of the highway roads in America are in poor or fair condition. There's $435 billion in backlog in repairs, and it costing about $130 billion for repairs on cars and trucks because of bad roads. So this came from American Society of Civil Engineers, which is ASCE. So that's kind of interesting information. So I thought this was really timely information because we are talking about blacktop in our parking lots and a couple of roads. So the other thing, I got another email on February 9th from the Center for Local Government. And they're going to have a 2024 elected officers training on Saturday, February the 24th at Springfield Township Art Connect Center. I guess at the Springfield Township Community Center. And on Saturday from 8 to 11:30 in the morning. And they're going to talk about overview of the local government in Ohio, including ethics, sunshine laws, record keeping, and other topics. So
What day was that, Chuck?
it's Saturday, February 24th. That's from 8 to 11:30 in the morning.
February
So,
24th.
yeah. So I'll probably attend that. I don't know if Dennis and Doug like to do that too. It seemed like it'd be worthwhile. I don't ever remember seeing that before in the past. So all I have.
All right, thanks. Guest, Sheriff Lieutenant Stuckey.
All right, so for January, for Crosby Township, we had 112 calls. We had 6 criminal reports, 7 non-criminal reports. 4 reports were assigned to our detectives. None were closed this month. Traffic, we had 3 auto accidents and no DUI or OVI arrest. And that's all I got. Any questions? Nope. Thanks.
Thank you. Public at large, do you want to give up? Just go up there, say who you are and where you live, and speak into the microphone. Can you reach it okay?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be talking for her, I think. So my name's Josh Asbach, and this is my daughter, Kate.
What was the last name again?
Asbach, A-S-B-A-C-H,
What's your address?
7351 Vista View Circle.
Thanks.
So I'll just read the letter that that Kate had drafted here. So, hi, my name is Kate Asbach, and I am 11 years old, and I live in Fort Scott. I'm excited to say my Nina, her grandmother, Grandpa, Uncle Brian, and Monica are all moving into Sedona Reserve. So our family purchased 2 houses on the other side of Blue Rock. Can I please have a crosswalk with lights going to one another? I want me and my family to stay safe when we are biking or walking to their houses. I hope you consider the crosswalk. Please and thank you, Kate. So we're just one of many families that have other friends or family members moving in there, and each of these communities have a sidewalk that terminates at Blue Rock, but being at the crest of the hill and the speed limit that's there, I just think we were just requesting if we could look at signage or a crosswalk of some manner, if we could look into that. So that's all we have to.
That's a county road, right? So
Yep, that's,
So I talked to the county, and they said I had to, they said that that's a Crosby issue. I called the county engineer's office, and I talked to a few different people. and
Yeah.
They said they can't do anything, like I know Blue Rock is their responsibility from my understanding. They said I had to come see the trustees of Crosby.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I've been,
the roads back in your subdivisions are Crosby roads, but Blue Rock is a county road, so I don't know if we could even, I don't know if they were passing the buck or.
yeah, I don't know. I reached a dead end there.
No, they want a
Crosswalk.
crosswalk.
There we go.
Again, if it's a county road, I think the county's gotta be responsible for that.
Yeah, I called the engineers department. I thought, and they
They passed the buck.
They
huh?
did. Which,
Did you call the engineer's office?
yeah,
Hamilton County Engineer's Office?
yeah. I spoke to 2 different people there, but yeah, they said that they said to talk to maintenance and the trustees here. So I don't know the best way to.
I'll tell you what.
They're probably unfamiliar with the road. You may
Yeah.
you may need to go up the chain there. like we have a list from the engineer's office that we maintain that, you know, lists all the linear feet of road that we have. I mean, even if they wanted to, they wouldn't be able to do something like that like on Blue Rock.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll contact the Harrison trustees, because down there on New Haven Road, they have a crosswalk that the flashing lights are solar fed.
Yeah.
And when somebody comes up there and push the button, it signals.
Parks of Whitewater?
Yeah.
That's the city.
Oh, that's right. That would be the city.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
how
still-
But that's still a county
Still a
road.
county road, but it's the city that would be the ones.
That's ideally,
see what you
we would love to have something like that, but yeah, I don't know where to turn at this point.
Yeah, well,
I could ask somebody on city council. Well, I have to talk to somebody in streets probably.
you gonna contact somebody?
Yeah, I'll get a hold of.
Okay, we'll track it down one way or the other.
I know you emailed a while back. Just send me another email so I have your contact information again.
Okay, I'd be happy to. Well, thanks for your help.
And I'll just see how they went about it, because that is a county road, and I would
Right.
guess the city.
I tried to start there.
Now, if you wanted an overpass going up and over, you know, it would be looking at serious money.
Do a GoFundMe page. Thanks. Did you want to talk?
Hi, my name is Kate Denier. I am the manager at the Harrison Branch Library. I haven't been in a couple months, so I just wanted to give you all an update of what's going on at the library. We just hired a new youth librarian, and she's very experienced and excited to get going in the Harrison community. Because we hired her, we're able to add some additional programming for youth, for teens and for kids. And that's already on our program calendar, which you can see online. We wanted to remind everybody that we do provide free homework help for youth. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday and Wednesday, it's from 4 to 8. On Fridays, it's from 2 to 6. And it's just drop in. There's no appointment necessary. Families can bring their kids in. And for help on homework, she can read with kids to help build their literacy skills. She has a variety of activities she can work on with kids as well. We are still providing free printing for people up to 20 pages per day. We have a new pay-for-print system, so it'll release 20 pages for everybody every single day. We do have meeting rooms available for free, which is something that a lot of people don't know that we provide. If you're having a party or something like that, there is a $50 charge, but if you have any kind of community meeting, we have scouting troops that use it, we have people tutoring, all kinds of things in there. It is free, and those rooms can be reserved online.
How many do they hold?
It holds up to 50 people. And we have a pretty good sized parking lot, so there's lots of room for people.
You said nonprofit can use it for free?
Yeah,
It's $50?
yeah.
For how
Sometimes
long?
you can book it as long as you need it. It's just a matter of availability, and you can see the availability when you go to book it. Our website is chpl.org, and you'll see the meeting room option on there to book it. We are still providing free COVID tests. We've run out a bunch. There's been a high need for that, but we usually are able to replenish them within a few days. We give out 4 tests per person per day. And the last thing I wanted to mention was we are having all-day activities on the day of the eclipse on April 8th, which is coming up. We are providing free glasses for people only on that day to use while they're at the library. Dean Regas is coming to do a program for us on February 28th. And we're going to have a lot of activities about the eclipse leading up to the big event, educational activities for all ages. The day of the eclipse, we know that a lot of kids are out of school that day. So we're going to have activities starting right when we open at 10 a.m. that day, and they'll go through the afternoon. So if parents have kids and aren't sure what to do that day, we're going to have a lot going on. Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? Thank you.
There might not be anybody here, but this is going on public TV, so there's more people that watch this than you
Yeah.
think.
All right, reports, legal, Alan?
Yeah, I circulated this guidelines for disposing of equipment in Crosby Township, and I just added some language regarding the statute.
Yeah.
So that was one of, I think, at a previous meeting I wasn't at, I think you adopted a number of policies. And you asked me to take a look at this one, so there's my input in case you want to adopt this policy.
I move that we adopt this policy
There we go.
for the guidelines for disposing of equipment in Crosby Township.
I second it.
Roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes,
Heiss.
Yes.
Is there a copy I can put in the minutes?
sure.
Got plenty.
Oh, we need to, the minutes too, to sign it.
I know, I need to print one out that switches draft to final.
Did we do last month too?
No, and I'll circulate both the last one and this one at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I just need to print them out. Thank you.
The other matter was, Dennis had asked me about looking into the proper way to donate, if that comes to fruition, donate property to the county, Great Parks. So there's a statute that applies to that, and it refers to consultation with the Ohio Ethics Commission. And I wrote them an email last week about it. They wrote me back and attached some information I have to look at. So I'll get a little more information and get back to you at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
And on the other side, I'm sure Great Parks probably is pretty familiar with this process, because I suspect they've gotten other donations.
I would assume.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Thanks, Alan.
Do you think that land could be sold, part of it, or is there much value to that? That 65 acres? That's what
I
we're
don't know if
talking
we
about,
would
right?
sell it to them or donate it.
Well,
Or you could donate some of it and maybe sell some? I don't know.
I mean, Township could probably do that.
We
it
can
was-
get in the consult, when they figure out who's got the other piece of property and we sit down and iron it out,
Okay.
we'll find out. But have you ever been down in there, Chuck?
Yeah, it's been a while, so I know.
It's just burrowed out gravel pit.
Yeah, and there's some old picnic tables there, yeah, or was at one time, so.
Yeah, there's still some
Yes.
tables there, but
They cut the grass every so often.
all the grills are dismantled pretty much. The
Yeah.
grates are gone.
Probably was at one time,
Scrapped.
but I guess one time it was used a lot more than now,
Yeah, it very rarely gets used for,
yeah.
positive things.
Well, there was bird watchers down there when I
Yeah,
was there.
And mainly it's
Is
a
that what they
dump,
told you?
I saw them looking with binoculars, but
and it seems to be a dumping ground too. We
Yeah.
find furniture, all kinds of stuff during the summer there.
Cause they're pretty isolated, no, not much,
Yeah, it's a problem, it's isolated.
yeah, so.
so,
I get was wondering about that, so, but do accommodation maybe, who knows?
yeah, well, we get there, we'll see what works.
Okay.
All right, maintenance, Mike?
Yeah. So, wanted to let you guys know that tomorrow we're getting our new mower delivered at 9 o'clock. Looking forward to that. We installed the new lift. I gave you 2 quotes for the forklift repair. I didn't print myself out any, so I can't remember the prices on one. Was like 2,000, the other one's like 4,500 or something ridiculous. So I just need you guys to approve the 2,000 one if that's okay. Oh, thank you. Yep. Yeah, it was $2,073.01. And that was Cornerstone Equipment. That's also the company that we're buying the mower from. And they said that they can do the repair on site, so we don't have to take it anywhere.
What's wrong with it?
The pump, the main pump that, for the hydraulics, one of the seals is leaking. And from what I've been told, I've talked to 3 different companies, and all 3 of them agree that we can't just repair that seal, because the shaft inside gets wore out. So they have to repair the shaft and everything else. It's just better to buy a new pump. And on these quotes, one of them, the Cornerstone, said that the pump is $690, but the other people, let me find it again here. I think it's on the second page.
It's
on the back.
$1,074.
Huh?
The pump $1,074 on the one.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, is $1,000. So, I don't know where the difference is, but it's, that's quite a bit of difference. So, but the people at Cornerstone Equipment seem, pretty reasonable, and they seem like they're knowledgeable too. I talked to the repair guy for at least an hour the other day, and he says it shouldn't be a problem. He does this all the time. That was his forte before he came and worked for Cornerstone, was material handling equipment. So he knows his stuff. But I think that's who we should go with to have it repaired.
So I'm assuming he's bringing equipment to lift that counterweight off of there?
Yeah, he says his truck's got a crane on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't have anything to
Oh,
handle
no,
You'd have to.
no.
it. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm just looking for you guys to say yay on that one.
Yeah, go with Cornerstone if they got the pump. As far as the pump markup, that's just company marking up a pump.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
So, no, I don't have a problem with it. You have a problem with it? I move that we go with Cornerstone on the forklift repair.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Bowman. Hyam.
Yes.
Heis.
Yes.
Awesome. And the other one I gave you, the big packet, there's like 5 or 6 pages, double-sided. I think some of the pages are missing. It's for Johnson Control. I talked to them about upgrading our system over on the other side to a security system. They said the installation is $3,661 for all the little sensors, for all the doors and stuff, because we don't have that over there. And then it's a annual service charge of $823, which if you break that down, it's $68 per month, roughly. And I think it'd be a good investment considering how much expensive equipment and tools we have over there to change it over to an actual alarm system.
Well, we're talking about dumping them on our system here when our contract's out at the end of this year, because we've had a lot of issues with them and charges.
Oh.
The thing is we have to find somebody that's gonna,
Well,
that's better than them. Because I've talked to numerous people and everybody's had trouble with their alarm companies that they have. Nobody's been really satisfied with any of them.
I think it was at St. John's, they were talking, because they were getting upgrade stuff for their school, and somebody in the meeting's like, well, you're not calling Johnson Control, are you? So they don't have a very good reputation.
Well, before I would do this, I would think we need to get a hold of another company that we know that we're gonna be working with.
Because we've had some big issues with them here.
So
and we're
what
paying
time-
a lot of money for.
How
what we
much
get.
time are you talking, like, changing over? I mean,
What's that?
we talking about the next month, or are we talking about
Our
next year?
contract's out this fall, and it was a 5-year contract, and we can't get out of it. I think it was October it expired, because we talked about it a year or two ago.
Yeah,
because
I didn't read in this,
We have ridiculous charges from them.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read in this.
Well, yeah, you didn't know
contract.
about it, you weren't
Yeah,
here.
and I don't know if we have to sign a yearly or 5-year or whatever on this, but
Yeah,
But the problem is you've got equipment,
Yeah,
initial installation
you would have
fees
a-
and all
there
that
would
kind
be
of
a
stuff that would
contract.
be.
We just got dinged for over $700
What's
for
that?
the we just got dinged from Johnson Control for over $700 for a repair they had to make last week.
Yeah, see,
when
it's,
the
it's,
phone lines
they
and
come
that
and
went
repair it
down.
all the time, and they charge us.
They've
Plus
got
we-
these chintzy
plus
little
we-
boards and they always break and then they
and we
they don't
pay
never
the
fix them
fees.
and then they.
Yeah, they were trying to talk me into changing to the system here. We got different system over there. It's Johnson Control, but the boards and everything are different. And I said, no, I heard about the bad things that happen over there. We want to keep the basic stuff over here. And it's
Maybe
very
a-
simple.
We even had a hard time getting sales. Our sales.
Yeah, there
even-
for a while.
We've had promises they were going to come to 3 straight meetings. They never came. They're really, really good at sending notices of your bill when they want you to pay them money.
Yeah.
It's about all they're good at.
I could just shed a little light on that latest bill. It was for a sensor in the kitchen. The alarm, not the fire side of it, but just a trouble light was coming on with an alarm sound. But anyway, it was in the kitchen, and I think that whole bill must be for the, just a little plug-in sensor he showed me that he needed to replace. So this gentleman took care of it, but it's just wild to me that something with a little wire hanging down was $700.
Probably labor on that too.
Right, and he actually said he was sure that it was with the original, this was part of the original system. And it just had gone bad. It wasn't anything newly gone bad, or wasn't a reason. It just wore out. So,
Yeah.
just to give you an idea.
We'll just table it for now, and we'll try to get some more information on, what we're gonna do this fall.
Yeah, we need to have another
You know,
company.
Just to let you know, we're paying over $4,000 a year right now for monitoring.
Just monitoring.
And that's just for fire. That's nothing
Yeah,
else.
just-
We don't have burglar alarms.
Yeah.
That's for
Don't
fire.
say that too
That's
loud.
a lot of money
Well, we have
for a crummy
cameras.
system. I shouldn't have said that, but.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my way. We've got cameras, which is great, but,
Yeah, but
by the
it-
time that we would find out that something happened, it might be a day or two,
Yeah, but you got the cameras you can go back on. Or the-
Yeah.
thing is, you're facing against the road, and that's a big plus. If it was facing the other way, where you couldn't see it from the road, well, then we'd have a bigger problem. So, but we need to take and find another company, so.
Okay. All right, so let's see. I think that's all I got. Yep.
I guess you already put signs that no trespassing or would be prosecuted.
You have
or
one that
whatever.
you've got a sign saying that you've got, that it's being surveillance, video surveillance.
I think I
Something
got
like
some
that.
stickers I can put up.
Yeah, I would do that outside.
Decals?
And people look around, they see them, so
Yeah, I think I got, or I can get them. I mean, it's not a big deal.
it's a good deterrent. Yeah, you can get them at the hardware store, or whatever.
Well, one thing I was gonna ask, you said hardware store. Saw the bill from Home Depot, you had a lot of batteries on there.
Batteries?
That's what was listed as BAT.
That was probably us.
Is that you guys? Okay,
Batteries for our SCBA packs.
okay. Because there was 3 or 4 different batteries that were, and they were $100 to $200 a piece. That's what ran the bill up so high, so Mike's off the hook and the fire department's on the hook.
Quite certain that's from us.
Okay, I just wanted clarification on that.
All right, Fire, Chief Davis.
January run totals, we had 39 EMS details, 35 fire details, for a total of 74 details in January. Medic unit parts have been ordered to repair the damage from the deer strike. I've been talking with the insurance company. I've given them a quote. I also have a quote in your packet tonight. A local company, Randy Lane, will be doing the service. Once the parts are in, they will contact me to make a schedule appointment to fix it. And a copy of this has been, I did give a copy of this to the insurance company. I believe we're dealing with a Lisa or a Leslie, back and forth. The 2004 engine needs new rear tires. I've attached a quote for the tires from Northgate Tire to this report, also to your report. That's the one after the insurance claim. They will come out, remove the old tires, place the new tires on. I'm asking for the quote amount so that I can call them and go ahead and set up an account with them, since we do not have an account with them, and they can come out and schedule that replacement. And that's for $1,923.
Did you try getting a quote from other companies?
I don't know. We've never purchased engine tires before. I don't know who else to.
I would contact, since you have connections over there with Corain, I would take and see who they buy tires off of, because
That's where this came from.
is that where so I mean, I'm not questioning that Northgate Tire, because sometimes,
The big thing is a service call. We can take it there to alleviate that $400 service call. We can do that.
yeah, but then you gotta take a guy over there, he's gotta sit around, they'll probably make you come back over by the time you run back and forth. If they're gonna come out and make a service call, then probably be a better route to go long-term.
We did use Bob Summerall tires for our medic unit in the past.
Yeah,
I can call them.
I would.
Just get a couple quotes.
Yeah. I mean, we can pass that, you don't spend any more than $1,940, since you already got this bid. And then if you can beat it, beat it. That way you don't have to wait until next month
Okay.
to, get the job done. But I would get another quote.
Let me call them tomorrow. And do you have another recommendation for another company that's around here?
I'm
besides Bob
trying to
Summerall?
think. I would take and get a hold of Wholesale Tire over in Shandon.
Wholesale.
They,
I'll get you.
they are reasonable, but it's hard telling where those tires are coming from. And then, I can't think of the other tire company that's over there, just on the other side on 126 going out of Shandon. Wait a minute, I might have it on my phone.
Mike's gonna give me the information for wholesale.
I use them all the time.
Large tires?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll call those two places tomorrow. But as long as it's under that, it's okay to go ahead and schedule a service?
For the deer damage,
No, for the tires.
for the tires?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve no more than $1,940 for the tire replacement on the 2004 fire engine.
I second it.
Roll call.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heis.
Yes.
That was 1,940, is that right?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Did you have a question about the deer damage?
The deer damage is going to be covered by insurance, or is there a deductible?
There's a deductible, $250.
Okay, well, that's no big deal.
Yeah. Two more things. The FDIC, or Fire Department Instructors Conference, happens every April in Indianapolis. I'd like to send 2 career employees this year to take some class sessions and some course topics. Registration for the class and to see the vendors is $649 per person. I'd like to use a township credit card if I get approval for $1,298 to send 2 people to classes up at the FDIC in Indianapolis. Some of the class topics are things such as hybrid vehicles, electric battery vehicles, fireground operations, leadership classes. There was some classes on firefighter cancer in the fire service with fire gear. And there's quite a few classes going on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
So they're going all 3 days?
Yep.
So that includes a room and everything? Or do they each get a room, or they
No.
share a room, or
I'll pay for the room. That's expensive.
what's that?
That's expensive. I'll pay for the room.
I move that we approve $1,298 to send the firefighters to the Indianapolis meeting.
My next question to Matt or Brian is, can I use a credit card for that? Or would you prefer a check? In other words, what's the credit limit on the cards? I don't know that answer.
I mean, if you're able to pay that bill with a check, it would be preferable to pay it with a check.
I do have a mail payment to address.
Yeah, that would be much preferable. It's better. I mean, I just think it's better all around. It's better for when we come and get audited. It's better. It's just better policy when we're able to pay that way.
Let me get the registration numbers for the 2 individuals, and then I will get with Brian.
When is it?
Address.
Oh,
April.
People, they got plenty of time.
16 through, yeah.
Who was the second on that motion?
I'll second it. Roll call,
Norman,
yes.
Hyam,
Yes,
Heis.
Yes.
And what was the amount of money on that? That was 1,000.
$1,298. Okay, the other fire company over there in Shandon is Best Tire,
Tire company,
Best.
Best, B-E-S-T.
Okay.
Phone number 738-0439.
Thank you.
that'd be pretty close, too.
Yeah, I guess you can take a tax exempt form with you and save a sale tax,
I do have, yep, I've got that on my,
because you're talking $150.
Well, he's not gonna take it with him. That's gonna be paid ahead of time. They're made
Well,
on
you
a
can
check.
send it.
it'll be billed. But if they do ask for a tax exempt number, I do have that information. And then I turned in a bill for Brian and not realizing the amount. MDC brackets with the new engine and the vehicle. With those 2 MDCs we purchased last year, these brackets house the mobile data computer for these 2 vehicles. Mr. Adler came in and installed the brackets on the vehicles. And this invoice is for the power supply, the brackets, and some miscellaneous inputs for those 2 vehicles. I'm looking for approval for Brian to pay that invoice to Mr. Adler.
Is this for the new fire truck, or?
That's one of them, yep. And those 2 vehicles did not have brackets prior.
Is that the 1837?
It is 1837.
I think he handed it.
It was separate. I got it today. It's not attached to the
I got it.
actual packet. And He did the mounts for the medic units and the other engine for us in the past.
I move we pay the $1837 to Michael Adler.
Second. Roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heise.
Yes.
And then the last thing I have is I'd like to call for an executive session after the meeting to discuss career insurance and benefits for the career firefighters. And that is all I have for tonight.
Anybody got any questions for Jason?
Nope.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Community Coordinator Brenda.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you, trustees, especially for, I guess, acknowledging all the guests that we had in the January meeting and doing such a great job, and for your kind words as well. I just hated that I got sick. It was one of those things where I didn't like creep up on me. Suddenly, I was just too sick immediately, so I couldn't come. And it's kind of funny because when I watched the program on the ICRC thing, just to enjoy the people that came, I realized that I had planned on Monday finishing up my certificates, and 2 of them were not among those that you distributed. So tonight, I have one for Chuck and Nancy Heise for their Santa's gift donations throughout the year, and for Doug and Mary Lohman as our gift wrappers that came out. And I'm sorry, but I'm glad to give it to you tonight, because that just makes me happy. So thank you very much, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Should I shake your hand like I do everybody else? That's how you do it. Anyway, there you go. Okay, well, I'm just going to go down this little list here. Our Crosby Cafe, that's our live music. It's a fun night that's every third Wednesday with a local band. There's no admission charge. It starts at 7. And this month, it's February 21st. And so the community is really enjoying it. We are getting, I would say, 60 every time, it seems anymore. It kind of died off a little with sickness and whatever, maybe the holidays. But basically, we got a crowd that's continuing to come, and that's really awesome. I wanted to let you know we've used the last entertainment program for the year for 2023 that is part of the grant that I wrote through Butler Rural Community Connections in the past, and it's time for us to do it again. If you ever get a chance to hear a band named it's a Celtic band named Foley Road. They were absolutely awesome. It was 4 pieces, I think, and a couple were not there because they were sick or something, but it was just so dynamic that the crowd was thrilled, and they're going to come back, and they want to do our outside shelter one day. So anyway, I'm going to write a new grant. It's due March 1st, I think, and our annual fee to bring out those programs is $800, and so I'm really hopeful that will all fly again, because that's how we've been making all that work. Wanted to just say, our Wii Bowling is temporarily on hold because we've had people that either went to Florida, got sick, or had an accident and fell down or whatever. So they're all on these 2 teams. It's kind of funny because they said, well, let's just put it on hold, ask for new members, and hope we all heal up. And so that's what we're doing with that. But our chair volleyball is continuing to thrive anyway on Thursdays at 10. How fun. This month, the Dinner with Friends is going to take place this Thursday. I thought maybe it'd be better if I chose the 15th instead of the 14th for a restaurant with at least 20 seniors I've got signed up so far. So we'd have good seating and wouldn't be Valentine's Day. But we're going to Izzy's, and they're very eager to taste what they've known for years, which is the world's greatest Reuben sandwich since 1901. And when I called today to make the reservation, the gentleman said, oh, thank you for coming. We're excited. It'll all be all set up for you and everything. We're going to go to the one up on right off of Winton Road by Old Time Pottery. So that's where we'll be. That's this Thursday. Wanted to just mention yoga classes are back up and running here at the community center every Wednesday from 6 to 7. And we're going to have a winter night away. And I kind of framed it as a cozy, warm winter overnight because they have that large stone fireplace in the middle of their lobby, and everybody really enjoys sitting around that. It's scheduled for Thursday, February 29th, and our time frame's probably going to be something like we'll check in around 3, we'll gather at the fireplace, and a special presentation will be done by the park naturalist. And I wrote complete with critters because I said, do you have anything besides snakes? And they said, well, we can look around. I go, good, just keep looking, because typically they always want to bring those snakes in there. Anyway, and then at 5:30, we're going to do the lodge dining room for dinner, and a fellowship time after that with cards, dominoes, swimming, whatever, and maybe just sit around the fire with a cup of coffee and enjoy meeting new friends and old friends. So that's coming up shortly after that. That's the main part of what I have going on. I decided to kind of make a list and look at things that are coming up for me in this role as community coordinator for 2024, and I looked at it. In the next 3 months, I hope to have out of that, in 4 weeks, I need to get a township newsletter put together that's writing it, designing it, going to zoning, working through all the addresses that have been added this year at Crosby Township, all this stuff. It's a rather large undertaking, but February is a good push month to try and get that done because we've got a new shelter, and that's going to create new challenges, including researching activities, community interest, scheduling, hosting, attending, all the details, the things that would make it the best it can be for our community with our new shelter. I'm excited about it. Right on the heels of that is Crosby Day at Strickers Grove, and that takes up time in like March and April. Clerical duties, displays, concessions, averaging about 2,000 people with door prizes. 1 week later, the Memorial Day Parade and Service, which means the whole March and April is 2 major events that we have in our community 1 week apart. That's a big push to have it the best it can be for our community. And of course, our senior club is flourishing along with other things, so that's constantly requiring programming activities for a growing group of people. And then just the normal township office work that takes place here, that's very demanding as well. And all that's in the next 3 months, and I was like, oh my. So I thought, and I looked back, and I know that in November at the organizational meeting, it was a request that we could possibly approve an assistant for me at some time. And when I looked this over, it seems kind of an emergency feeling of, I think it's time now. And so I wanted to introduce the person that I thought would be really good for this job and when it's time, because she's already been volunteering here among us for a year. Her name is Vivian Turner, and she joined the Seniors Club. And right away, she was the one who washed all the chairs at the Memorial Day thing. She's constantly on it and asking me, what's happening next? What do I need to do? How can I be helpful? She's positive, she's cheerful, and she does what she needs to do. I wrote just a little paragraph that just said, since joining the senior club, she's made a positive impact on the club members. She's been a volunteer at our multiple programs since day one. Vivian has clerical skills and requires very little instruction when she understands the goal. She is a positive person who is task-oriented. She demonstrated her commitment most recently with the Kringle Chess program, where she joined my family and working long hours of preparation on that wrapping party and all that setup. I'm talking like 10 hours a day for probably 6-7 days in a row. It's amazing what goes into that. And then the beauty of this thing is, I find out that she's been a registered nurse for 37 years, and she worked with geriatrics, which makes the whole situation of bringing a registered nurse who is very familiar with and spent her career working with seniors. She's probably as good a person as we can come up with, because she's been the director of education at a 120-bed facility. She's been an instructor of state and federal guidelines for nursing assistants so they can become state certified, so she's a public speaker. She's just a really nice little package that I need help with, and I'm just asking if we might be able to consider you know, her as I recommend her as a person that can be an assistant to help me out, because she already knows the ropes. She's already been doing it.
Well, I think if you can work with her and you like her, I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, we approved, you know, we budgeted, it was 15,000, up to 15,000 a year at $15 an hour, up to 12 hours per week average. And I had asked Alan to make sure that we didn't have to advertise that position. He said that we did not, so, I'll make a motion that we hire as your assistant.
I second it.
I thank you so much. As I look at all the things coming for, I'm so happy to have that help. It's hard to do that all by yourself. I know
So our motion was who?
the person,
Me?
No, who made the motion?
I did.
Norman?
Chuck seconded it. To hire, what was her name?
Vivian Turner.
Vivian Turner.
Seniors love her too. She's positive. She's good. She's an asset.
We're gonna call this assistant community coordinator?
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Yeah.
I assume she wants this job, right?
Yeah, she does. Actually, I think some nurses want her back in other areas. There is a reference that I got for her that's on with that little packet, and I just need to say, my job has been such that we can say it ebbs and flows, but it kind of it peaks. There's a lot going on, but it doesn't really go as low anymore as it used to because of what's coming up with all the senior things I'm doing and now the shelter. So my downtimes are much less than they ever were, and it's a good thing because we are just blossoming. But it's just a time that it's good to make this a little easier.
you want a roll call?
Yes.
Lohman?
Yes.
Hyam?
Yes,
Heiss?
Yes.
since she's a nurse, we could probably take her salary out of the EMT fund.
There you go. Maybe she can help. But thank you. And that's all of my report.
Now you can kick off vacation. Somebody be here.
I'm
do
sorry,
your work.
I didn't hear
I
what you
said
said.
now you can kick off vacation. Somebody be here could do your work.
Yeah, I don't think I've gone on a lot of medical things when I needed to with Cole, but I don't think I've had a vacation for a long time. So that's a good idea, Chuck. I like that. Thank you.
Anything else for Brenda? Fiscal Officer Matt?
You have the written fiscal officer's report that was in your mailboxes. There's no results from the audit yet. Hoping to get those soon. In your written fiscal officer's report, you will not have the reports related to the bank reconciliation from January in there yet. That is due to the end of the year finalization. That's not quite done yet. End of year finalization is due by the end of February. And there's some specific notes, particularly Hinkle notes that are due along with that. Those will be completed most likely by the end of this week. And the UAN will not permit us to do a January bank reconciliation for 2024 until the year of 2023 is totally finalized. So that's why that is not in your report. But we'll do the bank rec along with the February bank rec, and that'll be in your next report, both of those together. There was mention already made, but there was a copy of the bill for the Johnson Control for repair to the alarm system put in your mailboxes. And, even though that is not, Brian put that in there. I thought that was a good idea on his part, just because even though it's not, $1,000, given that it's Johnson Controls, trustees have had kind of personal dealings with them. We just want your blessing on, that getting paid, or if that's what you want done with that. So that's there for you. Brian made copies of the different paving companies' quotes specifically that were put in there for if and when you guys want to take any kind of action on that. I'm sure that's, I know some of that's already been mentioned. There's you have an update. Brian put together some good updates on the projected increase in property taxes for the next year in your mailboxes. There was, because you guys had questions about that last time. Again, these are projections, but a lot more reliable than us just pulling money out of thin air. Just generally, looks like it would be about a 10% increase for this year. So, I mean, it's a pretty significant number. And I know a lot of people have had bills that where their property taxes have increased a lot more than that even. But there's also a lot of folks where, you know, if you had a recent sale, well, that recent sale is your arm's length transaction, and there's not this kind of arbitrary just like, you know, jump of a percentage in the property tax bill for a lot of folks as well. A lot of people have been moving around. So there is one thing, kind of old business. There was we talked at length, Brian and I, about how much of a deposit to make into the Star Ohio account. We looked in detail at what we thought the projected tax revenues would be coming in, what the cash flow would look like going out of the general fund, and we made the determination that we thought we would have plenty of money in the general fund to make a deposit or a transfer, I guess you could say, of $2 million. So we put another $2 million in Star Ohio. And if you look at the statement from Star Ohio in your report, it's still getting almost 5.5%. So that's where that'll be. And, you know, we can always bring it out if we have to, but I don't think we will, because of the two main deposits that we get from the property taxes from the county. The biggest one that we get is usually in April, so it's in the first half of the year. So, you know, we still have, I think it was like, you know, 1.6 in the checking account, and I don't think we'll have to move anything around. I think we'll be fine.
So is the interest from that flip staying in there, like rolling into the account?
From Star Ohio? Yeah. What happens is there's a little kind of a radio button when you document the interest that comes in monthly from either Fifth Third or from Star Ohio. It takes care of distributing that to the different correct accounts and stuff accordingly, and yeah, it just keeps rolling. So
It stays in there. You don't.
yeah, it's right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
it stays in Star Ohio, so it's
Building up
kind of
in
like,
there. Like a savings account, kind of.
yeah, I don't want to call it compounding interest, but really, that's really what it is. It's basically compounding interest. Yeah. I believe that's all I have. Unless you guys have any questions.
All right, thanks, Matt. Zoning rec.
Oh, I had one more thing. I wanted to mention and publicly thank Brian for his efforts on this. There was we had this issue where this big truck tore down these power lines on Willie Road, and that happened at a really bad time for us. So at the end of the month, as you know, W-2s and W-3s are due to the IRS. This particular year, we were required to electronically upload them to the IRS, and it was multiple days where all of our systems here were down. And even because of where this place is located, cellular connectivity is really not an option either. I was on the phone, I think it was January 31st with Brian, figuring out how we're going to do this. And he put in a lot of extra effort figuring that out. So I really appreciate that. And that all was uploaded on time and done properly. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right.
Zoning. We did
I already said it once.
4 new home certificates last month, 1 addition and 2 fences. And the trailer's gone in New Baltimore.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that to you.
It's what?
The trailer's gone.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I wrote the letter, and I guess, yeah, it's gone. That's fine.
Is there ashes there?
There was a dumpster there and it's gone too, so I don't know if it
Thank God
went,
that's
I don't know if it went in the dumpster or what the deal was, but it's gone.
Do you have like champagne or something? Did you get this, I don't know if it was fees or something for Hamilton County? I just got that in my mail. I don't know if that's for you or.
This is normal.
Okay.
We make new resolutions or stuff. We have to let them know.
That's fine. I just had my mail and I figured it said zoning and I figured it was, you knew about it or.
Yep. Anything else?
Guess not. Thank you.
If we could, we got Bob's patiently waiting out there and we didn't work him in the public at large section, so if we could bring him in because most of it is old business, but you want to make your presentation, Bob? Sorry,
We're afraid he might have left and then there'd be nobody here.
Bob May with RJM Consulting. I sent quite a few things to you through the email, and Brenda, you got copies too. But just to kind of go over the outline of the timeline.
I already gave everybody.
Oh,
a
yeah,
copy.
I think I've got a copy of that, Bob. Thank you.
Okay.
Beat you to it, Bob.
But we've got the timeline, and regarding the timeline, we've got the outline for the newspaper ad that I presume that was put in by Alan.
I didn't put it in. I just prepared the,
Okay, well, we need to get that sent in.
I gotta change this timeline?
No,
You're only off a day.
yeah. We just gotta send that to the newspaper. The updated, we got the updated Ohio prevailing wage rates, the state of Ohio public information document. I've got the soils report. We've got the site plan. Abercrombie's finishing that out. And I've got the outline spec for the firehouse. And then the other thing that I realized that I didn't put on this is the notice to bidders. And Alan, I sent that to you because I think you originally put that together, and then I highlighted, just changing the names and all that. So if
And
you
I
could just,
sent those back to you. You have the current version, the one that I changed,
okay,
and I emailed it back to you,
okay,
and you approved it.
okay. So we should be good to go I can start sending out the information once I get that final plan from,
Who's gonna publish the notice, though?
we gotta send it to the newspaper put the ad in. I can't do that.
Yeah,
So
in
does.
charge of that, Brenda.
I don't know. Everyone's looking at me. Is that something you'd like me to do? I wasn't aware that that you wanted me to or anything, but
Which, we're
Well,
not gonna
is
use
it-
I'm sorry.
no, you go. I was just going to say, is it typically, in the past, I don't know who has done it. Has it?
The last one we did the shelter, I think you put the ad in the Enquirer.
Was he in the Enquirer? I'll take care of that tomorrow,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. And that still gives us, we got the bids due on the 7th, so we still have that 3-week period that supposedly that was the outline that you have to advertise it for 3 weeks so that people can get that information. The one thing that we are gonna have is on the 20th, we're gonna need to have the pre-bid at the firehouse, because as we go through that, there are some things that even though we put them on my outline spec, they're gonna have to look at it and see what it is, because some of the things you can't really describe in much detail, but you can give them an idea of how they need to handle it in the design-build portion of the project. And then on the 7th, that's when the bids are due, and that's going to be on a Thursday at 2 o'clock. From there, we'll end up getting the bids. We'll see the information. The contractors will be here, and we'll have a list that we'll kind of know who's going to be the lowest person on that bid day. Again, we still have time to go through that outline to make sure that, all their paperwork that they gave us, and check all the boxes off. From that, that notice to bidders is actually part of the contract. And Matt, you'll have to sign that as the fiscal officer. Dennis, you and Doug will be signing off portions of that. That's what I sent you later this evening. First, I thought we had to have it signed tonight. That's why I was rushing to get it in, but we don't have to do that. That goes out blank. The contractor fills out all that information as part of their bid, and then we take one of those documents, sign it, and send it back to them. That, along with their outline, their details, that becomes part of their contract, and that's how we manage the project from there on out. And then after we award, they've got 3 weeks to come up with a schedule so that they can tell us when the durations, even though if you look at the document, I asked them to give us a preliminary schedule so that we can kind of look at that and see how they manage it, and then also to be able to tell the fire department what kind of timeline and what we're gonna have to work on. Because some of the things we're probably gonna have to do is, you're gonna have to have temporary ways to get in and out of that building. With us doing all that stuff in front.
They got a side door that they don't have to use the back door, they can use the side door.
Correct. But we still might have to put another temporary door someplace to get you out if we come in. Again, we won't find that out until the architect starts going, and then we go to the city or the county, and they look at the plans and say, hey, you're gonna need to do this, or you're gonna need to do that.
Yeah.
So, because again, it's not as nice and neat and clean as the storage building was or the shelter was. It's gonna be a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
But everything else looks like it's in pretty good shape.
So the bids are due on the 7th. When do we award the contract?
Well, basically, we'll meet with them. We'll have to set a time to meet with them.
So we'll open the bids
We'll open the bids.
on the 7th, when the bids are
Right.
due. So
Right.
they can deliver them in person if they want
Yeah,
to.
yeah, they're gonna do that.
Okay,
But then again, you and them, they'll already have everything signed on that notice of, last document that I sent you this evening.
well, I didn't look at my emails that late.
That's all right.
I think I saw there's a lot of is there a whole bunch of pages?
Yeah, and this is
Yeah.
where you're, everybody's testing and
Okay,
everything that's signed by the contractor will be signed. The only thing that won't be signed
is what we have to
is what
sign.
you gotta sign.
Yeah, okay,
So that'll be the thing that we have to kinda go over. Then I'll take all this information, then I'll attach I'll change this line item.
that's,
I know where it's at, but.
yeah,
That it includes their, because they'll typically have an outline spec and all the costs and dollars and all that.
yeah, okay.
And we'll just attach their proposal with this information, so you'll be able to have the document.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I got the site plan here. Bob gave me a copy, so I'll leave it in there in the office if anybody wants to look at it. And his build specifications, that'll be in there with it. And get this project on the road.
Yep.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, thanks.
All right, old business, I have none. Dennis?
Old business, as far as the paving out here on, the community center's parking lot. I gave everybody a copy of everything that I had received. The first time we had a bidding done, it was grinding out the bad spots, fixing it, and then just sealing everything. And got looking at it and talking to it with the different reps, and then it was suggesting that would just be a piecemeal. It wouldn't look good, and in 5 years, every crack that we sealed up would be re-cracking. So they came back with, why don't we just take and grind the entire lot down except for the back part here. That was the newest addition, and resurface it. So Bear, what he wanted to do was just grind out the spots that are deteriorated the worst, repair them, and then lay 1.5 inches of blacktop down over top. If you look at the lot out there, if you put 1.5 inches on top of what's currently there, it's going to raise it above the sidewalk up along this side. It's going to raise it up around the perimeter of the flagpole out there, and it's going to, they're going to have to taper it, and everything is going to have to be tapered. And that was his suggestion, and the reason he went that route is he thought, instead of grinding 2 inches off and he didn't know what the base was underneath, and he thought if we weakened the base up underneath, you would screw it up and he'd have a problem with that. And that was Bear. Cincinnati Asphalt, they'll grind it down the 2 inches, lay new blacktop in, and it'll the same height as what it is now. And then they'll seal the newer parking lot back here and seal the maintenance building. And then do the lots. Naturally, there's a cost difference. The walking path, I took out of the bids because I figured that wasn't that bad yet. There's just basically cracks every so often that they have put sealer in to smooth them out a little bit. I couldn't see spending that much money out there redoing that at this time. Also, since Cincinnati Asphalt was grinding it down, I asked him about putting an extension off the parking lot down here over to the walkway. So when Brenda had to take equipment out to the new shelter, she had a path that was paved to get over to the existing walking trail. Cincinnati Asphalt came back with almost an $11,000 charge on that. And I thought that was way too much for that. So, you know, I put all this stuff in your mailbox earlier in the week so you guys could at least get a heads up on it. The only other thing that Cincinnati Asphalt bid on, and it's $74,000, and that's repaving the roads in New Baltimore.
That's separate, or is that?
That's separate. And right now, they aren't certified to do road paving, but they told me they're going after their certification from ODOT and that they would have it by spring. Today, I went over to Rack Belair. I was talking to the county engineer's office about this, about doing the roads. And on a small project like that, Barrett and Jurgensen probably wouldn't give us a very good bid because it's such a small project. But he said Rack Belair does some of that. So I went over and I'm meeting with them tomorrow morning to get a bid, to have them work on a bid.
I got a question. When you get to Fort Scott, in the Hamilton County, oversee that, or are they going to oversee this?
I got in before the deadline so they could put it in with their total work project, which takes them like 4 months to get approved.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking to, and we can do this on our own on a small project and not go through the county.
Okay.
The county might, on a big project like the Fort Scott Boulevard, on a big project like that, they could probably save us money. But on a small project, a big company like Barrett or Jurgensen, they're gonna say, we aren't gonna mess with this, you know. So that's the jibe I was getting.
I had a question on this 45,100 estimate.
Yeah.
The last, you said 1.5 inch, but am I not reading it right? Look at the last two.
You gotta
lines.
add those two figures together.
That bear?
Yeah, I mean, the type.
And then how I got back with him, and once we told him what he was doing, he figured he didn't want to mess with it, so I never got anything back from him.
Because you said a 1.5 inch, but look like here it said furnished and applied 2 inch of 448 type 1 surface asphalt. Am I not reading it right?
Just a minute.
Okay.
It's buried in here somewhere. I got the census added on there.
Because Cincinnati said 2 inches, and I would compare, and I saw both of them said 2 inches.
I lost my bear. There it is. Nope. There, now I got it. Okay, on the bear thing,
down the bottom, the last two lines.
I got the wrong bear thing, that's the old one.
Here.
Okay,
Well, yeah, I got a whole
the
one.
crack fill and seal coat, that's the new parking lot and the maintenance building. That's getting the sealer on it and the crack fill.
Yeah,
And that's $3,800.
okay.
The blacktop, where he's going in over top, and he's got here 2 inches, that's 41.3, and you add 41.3 and 3,800, and you come up with 45.1.
But you said something about 1.5 inches, but I'm reading this as 2
He's got 2
inches.
inches. He told me out there 1.5 inches, but then when he
So
printed
it's
it
not,
off, he's
so
2
it's
inch.
not right.
Huh?
Not right, it should be 1.5 inches, not 2.
No, he must change his mind, and if he printed 2 inches, it's 2 inches. So, he said he would come in with a leveling course first, so that's probably where he changed his mind. He thought he'd come in with a leveling course first, which would be 1/2 inch, and then he'd put 1.5 inches on top of it, so it's 2 inch altogether.
Oh, okay. So
So-
that's the same as Cincinnati then? If both
No,
2 inches?
Cincinnati's grinding it down first.
Grind it down first?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
that's the difference between the two. That's why there's that much difference in cost.
Yeah, so Cincinnati a lot higher.
Right, but they're grinding.
Well, if you go with the 113,000,
I don't know where he came up with that. He was adding everything together. I think he was messed up. That was the old bid.
you know, my only thought is if we start picking and choosing on what we want him to do, he might change his price. The prices might change since it was like one big proposal.
Well, on the first proposal is when he came up with that 100, and he was just adding everything together, and he did that wrong. So the newest proposal for the 62,670, 81,
I didn't get that one, so
oh,
I didn't know there was one other than 113,000.
yeah, that was the first
Okay.
proposal.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's the one I have too. Is that the one you have?
well, you got 2 different proposals.
Yeah, you got
First
option,
one and then the second one.
you got option 1 and option 2.
Option 2.
Okay. Which is, I got come up with $62,911.56. But it looked like, okay.
It's the project proposal that's dated 1/19. I know it's confusing because he gave you so much paper. But I had Brenda help me run all this off so everybody could get a stack.
It sounds like part of the difficulty of the question for you guys is it's not as simple as what we usually have, which is we need to buy a couch. Who gets us the couch for the best price? You have to decide what methodology that you
Right.
believe is going to be the right thing to do. It's not just a simple question of price.
Right. If you go out there and look and you lay 1.5 to 2 inches down on top of the current grade, you got to feather the edges down so that it hits the sidewalk right.
Did he say anything about that, or?
He said he'd just feather it down so it works, because I asked him about it.
I mean, yeah, and I'm no expert in the field, but I mean, we've all lived life. We all have common sense, and how well does thinly laid asphalt hold up? I mean,
Well,
we've
for
all.
Scott, that was just a 2 inch. It was ground.
I'm not
2
talking about the 2 inches. I'm talking about when you add a layer on top of something, but then
But
that
then
layer
you taper
is then
it down.
feathered.
I know.
And
I
and
know.
how well does that hold up? It has base underneath it, but then I mean
That's my question too.
yeah.
That's why I would take and have
You
it.
guys got
ground.
homework to do.
I would take and grind it down and have the 2 inches laid right out to the edge. So,
All I know is if my truck tires get close to the edge of my in-law's driveway, I get corrected.
so. I'm just afraid if we just grind and patch and you do just fix the bad spots on top right now and you don't do anything else, then seal, in 5 years, you're gonna be looking at cracks in the same spot. Whereas if you grind it down and lay new, we're looking at a 20-year fix. And none of us will be here in 20 years. So,
Did Bear offer, so they didn't even offer a price to grind it all?
no, that was his solution,
So,
yeah.
Does Cincinnati do a lot of other work around here?
That's all they do is parking lots. Because I talked to my county engineer's connection over there, and I told him that they were wanting to do roads, and he says, well, all they do is parking lots. So they're well-known to be doing parking lots and private drives and stuff like that, because I had a guy that I met at a different function, and he had Cincinnati Asphalt do his drive, and he highly was
How
satisfied
long
with him.
ago?
I didn't ask that.
Because they were supposedly bought out like a couple of years ago or something.
They've changed around.
Because I heard that the Southwest Schools.
That was very recently. That was like in the last 6 months.
Because Southwest Schools quit using them because they had issues with their work.
Well, yeah, he's right, because they just changed hands.
But I mean, as
Right, I don't know how long ago. So,
I mean, do they have any references, like, since they've switched hands that we could, I mean, why did Southwest Schools get rid of them? Because they had so many issues. Because they had a contract, I guess, for all the schools and everything, and they dropped them.
got me.
How did they dump them? Because I saw them.
Got somebody-
I saw them laying the parking lot.
Like recently, or?
Yeah, all of the new schools.
Well, I think since then.
Well, if they built
Like
all of the
last
schools,
year.
what else was
Well,
there
they
to
would probably
do?
do maintenance on their older, I mean, they've got older.
The older schools.
Oh, I was just curious because I mean they just okay.
I mean, I can try to.
Bring them in. Bring them to a meeting.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't hope it find out.
No, if you want, I asked for maintenance, or,
What's that?
you said they wanted testimonials from other customers?
Yeah, since they've been, yeah, I mean, if they have references, I'll call them, I don't care.
Well, I can ask them.
Maybe we'll decide at the next meeting. I mean, I realize it has to get scheduled and everything, but it's,
Probably 20 days or 30 days or something.
Well, they got a deadline on this quote.
what was it?
It's like in 5 days from now.
Oh,
So basically, you want to go with option number 2, right?
Yeah, that's what I would lean towards, because then we don't have to mess with the road and parking lot for a while, because everything is fresh.
Do you think anything that could be done with the path, get sealed or something, or
What now?
the path, the walking path? You think anything that could be done with
I
that?
took that out. That was gonna cost us more money, and I thought I'd just do one thing at a time.
Well, they got a seal to pass for $3,136. Could put a seal on it.
that's Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's 1,253, I guess, square foot or whatever it is. Just seal to pass, 3136.06. It's confusing because they put everything together and came up with
Can we seal that or
$113,000.
not, like the walking path?
There's a possibility, but there's one spot that needs to be redone. It's sank. It's right on the main entrance.
It's sunk in.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that.
That actually was gonna be the one thing I was gonna say about that from a financial perspective. Just make sure cracks, no big deal. But Alan can tell you, one thing you have to watch out for is if you have cracks with sinking and rising, like differences in height, because you can begin to run into a situation where, especially if it's on your property as public, like park property, where if that crack, you get to a certain height in from one side of the crack to the other, you can almost start to become strictly liable for anyone's injuries that come as a result of doing their daily walk on there. That's kind of the way it works with like sidewalks and such in cities and things like that. But that's all I would say about that, and leave the rest to your legal counsel. It's the sinking and buckling and raising to watch out for most.
If you want me to ask for references, I can ask him for references, and
Okay.
I don't think the price is going to change that much. Oil has been pretty stable,
Yeah.
going up and down, so blacktop should be pretty stable in pricing. And then I'll get a bid from Rack Belair over there on Patty's Run. They're in the, and if he's not going to have that ready before I leave, I'm going to give you as a contact so he can contact you. And then you can get the information.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
Just doing the blacktop jobs, that's pretty much, and we got Bob taken care of. That's pretty much all I have.
All right. Chuck?
None.
New business, I have none. Dennis?
I don't have any.
Chuck?
None.
Other concerns?
You've got a request on the table for an executive session.
Yeah, so I guess, I can make a motion to go in executive session to discuss fire benefits,
Full-time fireman.
full-time
benefit.
fireman benefits.
Second.
Roll call.
Moman.
Yes.
Hyam.
Yeah.
Heiss.
Yeah.
Mark that as 8:42. Mr. President, do you want me in that meeting?
Yes.
Can Brian print out the copies that we need to sign on the financial reports? Second.
Roll call.
I lost my pen. All right, sorry.
Chuck and then Dennis.
I gotta get, hang on. Make sure all this stuff ends up in the right spot.
Do 8, or
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Heiss and a second from who?
Dennis. Come out of executive session at 9:18.
Roll call, Loman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Heiss.
Well, the next regular business meeting will be March 11th, 2024 at 7 o'clock. And now Chuck makes a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Dennis seconds. Roll call.
Loman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Heiss.
9:19.
27,000.